Guess who's berserk? Still smell the blow on my clothes like Krispy Kreme. I was cooking them morgans.
When I called Don Cannon, I was like, yo, I need a beat like that. And then he said, why not use that beat? I was like, bet. Where you at? I'm pull up on you now.
All the gangsters in the street, they be doing their thing. Hey.
Jeezy told me he had something special, but I really ain't know what it was. He wound up telling me it was Jay Z. I'm like, come on, man, y'all gotta stop, man, you know what I mean? And when they came out on stage and the crowd was singing word for word and knowing the whole song, I'm like, wow, I really made 17,000 people sing along with these dudes. And at that point, I still didn't think I was good enough. I knew I was gonna make it, but at that point, it really solidified in my brain like, oh, I'm really supposed to be here.
Remember the moment when Jay Z told you that was a classic?
When he heard it for the first time, because I played it for him, he definitely told me, he was like, yo, this one here gonna live with you.
Talk about special. It's my birthday. Leo Gang is here, and I had to bring you the special episode. The main attraction, Go Crazy. I know you heard the song. I know y'all use it in your reels. I know y'all use it on your TikTok. But this is Go Crazy by Young Jeezy and Jay Z, featuring the best producer ever, Don Cannon. This is BackTrak, baby. We here, Patchwerk Studios. You see it? It's gonna get ugly. Happy birthday. Check it out, man. It's a new episode. We're definitely here. We're back at the legendary Patchwerk Studios, Atlanta, Georgia. As I told y'all previously, I made some of my classic records here, and I wanted to come back here for what everybody was waiting on, was the actual process of Go Crazy by Jeezy featuring Jay Z. I got the same equipment, that I'm always using, the trusty old friend, the ASR X Pro, the Technique mixer, Technique 1200, and that old thing over there. So we're gonna go through the process. This is a little different than, most of them, because this record was my first record. It was the first placement I ever had. It's very special on a major level. But not only that, the record I sampled was really rare. So I went to 5 different record stores in Atlanta, couldn't find this record. It was super rare. Everybody's like, they haven't seen this record in 12 to 14 years. They gave me, a quick, rundown about how Discogs runs now, where you can find all the vinyls on Discogs.com. I went on there, searched high and low, looking for albums. The original one I sampled was on a Dead President soundtrack. It was a movie from 1995, and they had the song on the second side of the disc, and it was Man Oh Man by The Impressions. Anybody knows about The Impressions, Curtis Mayfield was in it. But I didn't find the actual record, but I did find a 45 version of it, and I found it in my hometown of Philadelphia, ironically. I tracked the guy down. I called him. He had a Google voice. He finally picked up. I finally got the record. The funny thing about it is, when I went to buy the 45, he didn't know how important it was to me. The record was only $2. So I had someone pick it up in Philadelphia for me and FedEx it all the way to me. And this is going to be the first time I open the package. And hopefully the package in this record, if FedEx didn't break this record, FedEx, I'm going to be mad. If y'all broke this record, I'm going to be pissed off. But it's the first time I open it. We're going to play it and go through the process. Thank you, my G. So these some right-hand scissors. I'm a left-hand guy, but it's gonna work. It's like opening the golden nugget, the golden ticket. Oh, they double packed it. Ooh. And I said Man Oh Man, but Man Oh Man, this is a good record. So this is a 45. For those who don't know, this is not a 12-inch, it's a 45. This record is The Impressions, ABC Paramount is the label. But it looked like this was only a B-side record. So the first side seems to be on the A side, You've Been Cheating by The Impressions, which I'm probably not really familiar with. But on this side is Man Oh Man. I hope this is the right record. Sometimes groups made 2 or 3 songs with the same title. So hopefully this is the one. Let's see what we got. Oh, this seems to be broke here in the groove. That's why it was $2, huh? Crackles. Ooh, this record is old, man. Man, oh man, have you been to Spain? Where the joy of laughing people make you happy again. Women so pretty. Ooh, this record's old. I don't know how I'm gonna get the sample out of this one, but we gonna try. Let's see, I'm gonna go for it again. The crack on this bad boy is crazy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sample it into the machine so we just have it. You know, hopefully it's not in bad of shape. Man, oh man, have you been to Spain? All right, so we got that. Where the joy of laughing people. I might want to get this at another speed as well. Man, oh man, have you been to Spain? Where the joy of laughing people make you happy again. Tell you about the history of why I sampled this record too. I was watching Dead Presidents, the movie. In the Dead Presidents movie, it had a lot of killer funk and soul samples. And I was like, man, I wonder if they did a soundtrack. So I went, hit the streets, and I found out they did a soundtrack. And then when I found the soundtrack, I originally heard some other stuff that I wanted to sample, but that was one of the best things I could have got out of it. So I wound up getting it, and that's the history of that record. So basically what I did on the ASR, I copied it to all the pads. Was different than the MPC. When you put the sample in, you have to chop it, copy pad, chop it, copy pad. This one, you can just lace around the keys. That's just one thing that Sonic did good for me. Then you send it, and then you have all the copies right here. So by the time I start editing, I could chop this up. Woo! So we got to get this a little cleaner. Once again, very simple, allowing the artist to get in there. I didn't do nothing extra. I just manipulated the way I wanted to be. But those are all the chops, my trusty old same kick. And that was the chop. For this particular record, it was at 89 BPMs. But in order to get just a slight different feel for the record, I made it like 89 and a half, which is 89.50. That's just the tempo. So I only use this in two parts of the record, the drum roll, because I felt like the drum roll would be a great intro. So when it comes on, I'm going want to just program that real quick. Program that because that's a part that was missing. Get that clean on us. So now that we got that down, as closest to the chop I can be. I mean, I'm not the 25-year-old that I used to with all the swag, but we're close here. So we got that down. Now let's try to remember the kick. Oh, I haven't heard it, but I'm gonna just try it from memory. But we got the clap in. This sample's a little too high, so I'm gonna go to the track and just turn it down just a tad so the clap can cut through a little bit. So you can see as it's playing now, it's already got the bounce. And just a little insight. I don't know who it was that told me, but when I was making the beats, I had put breakbeat drums behind this already, and it just didn't have that bounce. And I remember somebody telling me, yo, you're in the club as a DJ, you know the records to play. Why don't you make those beats in the crib? Why do you make, super underground breakbeat records? And I was like, man, I got defensive. I was like, because I love that type. But then I was like, you're right. For those type of records, I need to have that bounce for the club, for people to dance. So this is, my rendition of finding a bounce based off of what I would play in the club. That's why the drums are different than your normal breakbeat drums that I usually would chop up and use. I'm gonna try to remember this kick. Okay, I think I got it right. Pretty close. All right, so the last piece was hi-hat. I used the hi-hat that was in the machine, like I said before. Like these, back then these sounds was everything to me, and when I was using them when I first got the box in '97. But now that I'm, an advancement of the sounds, I don't think they're that good, but it still works for this record because these are original sounds that we have. So. That's pretty good there. So there's one thing called quantize when you're making a beat. I don't use quantize. I'm used to the humanized feel. We might have had to quantize it when we went to Pro Tools for it to stay on the grid, but I usually don't like to do that. This is the complete track. As you can see, when I made it, it probably took me 30 minutes in my head because I thought it was something special. Right now, we're talking years later, I still understand how to make that record. And it's doing fresh from just finding a 45 and doing it. At this point, I'm good. Have you seen the previous episode how we used to line it up in Pro Tools and get it ready? That was the next step. Right now, I'm really happy with where it's at. I showed y'all the process. I'll go through a couple more things, but I like what I'm at too. I love non-quantizing, but that's it. So I use the same drums because the first record I made was with this, is where I changed my direction of not using the absolute feel of break beats. So once this record came out and everybody loved it, I was like, man, I gotta keep the same drums because everybody like it, so just change the sample. Mr. 17.5 was a similar bounce. The same drums went for Cannon Remix, and Cannon Remix had a slightly different kick, but I wanted to keep that going in my beats. It's kind of like how Pharrell has a sound, how DJ Premier had a sound. I wanted that to be the Don Cannon club sound, so I kept that clap and that kick going through all the beats, probably from 2005 to 2009. And of course I made different sounding beats, but those were like my go-to drums if I knew I had to do something for the club and just to get people dancing. So that's when the claps and the actual kick and just the simple cymbals and percussions were coming in. So that's what, I use for the club bounce. So I quantize a sample. I'm going to reprogram the sample because I don't like what I did. There it is, Go Crazy. Y'all asked for it, I did it. Anything else y'all want to see, you let me know in the comments. I heard this record first in the club. I played it myself. I was in a club, and it was just one of them nights. I think it was a BMF party, and I was in a small room, the glass room, and I played it. And to see the effect of everybody liking it, it was just, that anthem for everybody to dance to. And that's when I felt like, oh snap, I got goosebumps. I'm like, oh, this record is it. I heard it, I previously heard it, when Jeezy played it for us, but to hear it outside and to hear it on the radio and just hearing the music as the bid for commercials for radio was just another feeling. Which record did better, Go Crazy or Mr. 17.5? I think Go Crazy went better. It charted higher. It was my first Billboard entry. It got the attention of every rapper. Coming up, you go through growing pains if you're supposed to be doing this or not. And this was the first record where I knew I was supposed to be doing it. I spent a whole bunch of nights up just losing sleep over, is this the career for me? Is this the career choice? And up until this moment is where I found out. I always tell this story about how I grew up watching Kobe win a championship. Man, I was just in my crib like, whoa, you could really make it. And being from the hometown and me knowing him and me knowing his father, sometimes you don't feel like you can jump over the hurdles that life is serving you. When I made this record and Jeezy rapped on it after T.I. rapped or freestyled on it first, but when Jeezy rapped on it and made it official, major release, and Jay Z getting on it after that, I was like, oh, I'm really supposed to be here, man. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it was like a pivot for me to know that, hey man, don't give up, keep moving forward. And that's why this record is more important.